Hello guys, Arkand here. Welcome to another Toe Dip. This is Identity Visual Novel. This VN was developed by a team, Juicy Drake Studios. Lone Wander is the writer, creative lead. Asbeoth, writer also. Gherod, writer also. Folsky is the artist. Rauch for artist. Sampling Kid, musician, and Wattson is the programmer. This is a non-linear horror mystery visual novel, and its plot focuses on self-discovery. The main character is Yarin Nyrok, a Scalie fellow who wakes up with amnesia, and he meets some odd people who are willing to help him, like old friends and some new acquaintances. The story is about finding out who the character was, whatever caused him to wake up blank, and forming new bonds with characters, and forming new memories. And if he is unable to find his old identity, you can help make a new identity for him. So let's check out the story. Something's gone terribly wrong. You cling to that thought, that lingering final thread, too thin to hold you above this empty void. You fall, abandoned in the dark. In time, you find the urge to struggle, like some animal driven only by instinct, for something, anything, to spare you from this fate. Your eyes open at last. You discover yourself surrounded by trees, shrouded in the night's waning cover. Dawn approaches, but you remain well in the dark on who you are and why you're even here. This place feels distant, foreboding, yet familiar to you. The connection you feel is like a rope tying you to this place, an umbilical cord connecting you to this life. There's more though. Something is screaming at you to run, to fly away from here. Your head is then racked with shooting pain. There's a pull on your mind, as if a blunt object is trying to push its way out of your skull. You don't belong in here, a screech fills your ears, drawing you to crumple to the ground and squeeze your eyes shut. The next thing you hear is a squelching right by your head. The pain is unbearable at this point. Leaves rustle nearby as you feel like something is stabbing through your skull, leaving you nauseous and incapable of doing anything other than huddling up in a ball. Then, as the pain abates, you hear something slither off. After what feels like hours, you're able to open your eyes again. The forest is unchanged. However, you feel different. You feel lighter, your head more focused, and your mind increasingly aware of your surroundings. You feel at home. You're soon back on your feet, brushing yourself off as you look around. A grin dusts your muzzle as you take a deep breath. You then find your legs moving, almost on their own, drawing you to wander about these old trees. There's a strange, almost impish glee in trekking through these unsettling woods, your scaled feet almost happy to move along the dew-damp, cold earth obscured by dawn's fog. Half of you wants to wallow in this dark space, while another grows ever more desperate for a familiar warmth. The air is filled with the ambience of creaking wood and shuffling of leaves, all while you feel a tingling breeze. As you wander through the haunting woods, you glance up. You see silky webs that thread through the limbs of the trees that claw at the sky above. Dew also drips from these fibers, giving them a shiny, almost metallic hue. With no clue as to what could have entangled the trees, you hurry along. You soon stumble upon the closest thing resembling a landmark in this endless forest. A large oak tree towers in the center of a shrouded glade. You reach out to touch the old wood. It has no marks. It seems like nothing but a simple tree. Caw, caw. You nearly jump out of your hide. Backing away, you see an unkindness of ravens perched on the oak's branches, all dead silent, all staring at you. Were they there before? What did you miss? They continue to glare at you for what feels like an eternity, their glassy black eyes transfixed on you. Then they all start to cry out. Caw, caw, caw. You cover your ears. Did you upset them? Instinct drives you to back away, but they only get louder when you do. Then it hits you. They aren't staring at you anymore. Hands still cupped over your ears, you wheel around. The ravens go silent. While the forest ambience might have begun to calm you before, you now see something that sends ice down your spine. Oh my gosh. Before you towers a hulking monster of root and bone, like an avatar of nature. It barely resembles any living thing. Its head is a reptile skull, socketed in place with vines and twigs. You stare, paralyzed, at the horror's charcoaled skull. It stares back, straight through you, before it falls to its haunches, its body creaking from the motion like ancient wood. It then lets out the loudest, most mournful wail you have ever had the displeasure of experiencing. Many ravens flap off in response, the horror beyond even their own morbid interest. You back away from the monster, and in an instant, its howls turn from despair to anger. Its limbs jankily crawl across the ground, movement coming difficult as joints pop and groan in protest. The thing's empty skull is zeroed in on you, those strained limbs doing all they can to pick up speed as roots from nearby trees slither towards you. Your instincts take hold, your legs bolt you away before you can even muster a screech of terror. The ravens cry out again, hardly drowning out the howls of your pursuer. The popping, strained sounds of its limbs grow louder, the beast's dead set on you. Even as you glance back, the horrible sight of the thing's hitched movements draws you to pick up speed, pure adrenaline saving you. You have no idea where you're going, just run and run and run, desperate for something, anything that'll get you away from this thing. Help! Someone! Anyone! Please! You feel a sweltering heat inside you, like boiling water filling you up. Anxiousness and fear take hold of you as your body goes into overdrive. Tears fill your eyes, fear overwhelming you as the sound of popping joints gets closer and closer. You're sobbing in terror as you crunch the leaves under your feet, bolting around trees, smashing through bushes. You do anything, everything your flightful mind can think of to stay alive just a little bit longer. You run, and then air meets your feet. You're suddenly filled with weightlessness. The earth is gone. Your feet are falling and falling and falling, yet not meeting anything solid. You tumble and twist, hands and feet clipping against dirt and rocks. Pain fills your limbs, your hands, your feet. A dull throb fills your skull as the pain saturates your mind. A thunk rings out, and then you're out. The black void once more consumes you. It fills, surrounds, suffocates. You thrash and struggle, but the void holds tight. You shout and screech, but the void does not relent. There's no safety, no light. And then your eyes fly open, dim light filling your mind as you crawl frantically across the ground. Your legs barely work, your arms barely drag you, but you manage. You claw and push yourself forward, through brush and ditches, mud and dirt. You just keep going. When you finally collapse under all that is bearing down on you, your mind lightens. Your fear gives way to reason and thought. You find it easier to prop yourself up without all the terror draining you. The energy doesn't come quite as easily. All you can manage is to lean against a nearby tree, focusing on controlling your breathing and reducing the burning in your lungs. With your breathing in control and your energy slowly returning, you can finally take in your surroundings. The first thing you notice is that it's brighter here, the shy sun far more visible. Before you lies a small meadow, mountains stretching into the distant horizon. Again, you can't help but wonder where you might be, at least until your thoughts are pierced by fear once more. You turn around to look back where you came, and up the incline you tumble down. Nothing. No one. You're alone. At least for now. Whatever that beast was, why it wanted you, those are questions that can wait. For now, you're just happy you can't see it, even as you realize that it's almost more terrifying to have no clue where danger may strike from again. You then hear the howling, but you're not sure if that's just ringing in your ears. It didn't fall off like you, but it may very well still be coming. With a modicum of energy recovered, you push off the tree and head out. Everything is more open here, more free. So much so that you barely watch where you're going and nearly smack face first into a door? It's just standing there, in the middle of nowhere, frame and all. You start to doubt there is any real sense of normality here at all. You stare in confusion at this strange fixture. A flapping from behind that causes you to duck your head. It's another raven. As it perches on the top of the door's frame, you can tell something is up. It must be the fattest, most unkempt raven you've ever seen. Even if that brings an almost comedic thought to your mind, it still strikes you as a disconcerting image. Whereas the other ravens had black eyes, this one's eyes shine with a sickly orange light. It almost makes the rest of the bird hard to see. The sun hangs in the sky behind the raven, and the sun itself half hides behind the mountains, which leaves only a little light to drape across this unkempt thing. That dim light just further entrances you to the bird before you. It caws at you, then pecks at the door, then caws again. Look around, look at the door, or try opening the door. Can we go through each one? Look around. It's a little hard to focus on the surroundings with this bird pestering you. Given the situation, you should probably hurry, but a look around can't hurt, right? There's a cool mountain breeze blowing in, and crisp, dew-wet grass clings to your feet. It'd be a calming experience, if not for the horror chasing you. You hear faint, rushing water in the distance. Much like before, as you survey the scenery, this place fills you with a profound longing. You focus on that sense, but it only leads you to heartache. There's something so meaningful to you here, something pulling at your heart, your mind. You could get lost here. Besides your thoughts, besides the pull of it all, there's nothing truly remarkable about the glade before you. Then you look up. Some part of your lizard brain compels you to drop to the ground, to duck your head to avoid what's there. You see 2, no, 3 planets just floating up there in the sky. The planets vary in size and mix of colors. One is like a pink and white whirlwind of clouds, another is merely a barren marble, and the third is almost familiar in its blue seas and green continents. They are far too close, however, and it feels like whatever force compels them to remain in the sky will give way any second now, and they'll come crashing right down on you. You're beginning to get vertigo, and so you glance away. For some reason, you don't remember noticing them before. Given the sheer terror of your first experiences here, you can't feel too surprised. Survival comes first, no matter where you may be. The raven lets out a loud caw, snapping your attention away from your observations. It's best you don't look up again. You take a second to catch your breath. There's nowhere else you can see yourself running to. However irrational, the door is probably the best option, assuming it's not a trap. I think we can go through each one, so look at the door. Its placement notwithstanding, it's just a door. It's made of wood. There's nothing of note on the opposite side of it. It's got a certain allure to its design, but beyond a strange pull, there's nothing else to it. The raven perched on it stares at you for a moment, before tapping its beak on the door frame, then staring back at you. It looks impatient. It's very eager to get you to open the door. Is that because it wants to help you, or because it has something else in mind? Your gut compels you not to trust such a creature, but there's also a strange thrill at the notion of seeing what it has in store for you. You lean in close to take a peek. Through the window, you see the other side of the glade. That's it. The raven pecks you on the head. It has no patience for your apparent foolishness. This is, at the very least, a perfect time to take a closer look at the bird, and you notice its top appears to be painted with a white ash-like substance, almost resembling a skunk's stripe. Try opening the door. You reach for the handle, at first hesitant, before throwing caution to the wind and just grabbing the thing. It feels like you just grabbed hot coal, a shriek of pain tearing from your maw. You pull back and stare at your hand, expecting a burn. Your scales look fine. There's nothing there. The raven just caws at you and pecks at the door again. For the next several seconds, you play a bit of a game, where you try to open the door as quickly as possible. After a number of attempts, you realize the door won't open at all. Then you hear it, that sickening howl. You turn to face it, and there the monster is, at the far end of the glade. The raven starts madly cawing at you, barely heard over this fresh terror. Commit to the door or bail on the door plan. Oh no. Okay, I don't see any other options, so I think we have to commit to the door. Pain be damned, you grab that thing and pull. The agony is immense, and the door still won't budge. You look back, the monster is barreling straight towards you. You turn to the door. The raven is now flapping next to it, pecking wildly at it in what you can only assume is some feeble attempt to help you. You keep pulling as hard as you can. The monster's chilling howl gets louder with each passing second, until it feels like it's screaming directly into your ear. The raven flies behind the door. You're about to just give in before you feel a metal click. The door swings wide open, blinding you with a bright light. You don't have any time to gather your bearings. It's right behind you. You bolt onward. A chest-high railing is stopping you from advancing, and you clamber halfway over it before you realize your fatal mistake. You just tried crawling off a balcony. The height is dizzying. You see only trees and concrete and the occasional wandering specks of what might be people far, far below you. You're desperate to reverse your descent, but it's too late. You feel yourself toppling forward, and you feel like you have only a second to come to terms with your doom before something grabs your leg. Fight for freedom or embrace the void? I feel like this is someone trying to save you, so I wanna say embrace the void. This whole ordeal is too much for you. You feel like you're going to pass out, and you don't care if the monster finally caught you. You cover your eyes to banish the frightening landscape. Don't worry, I got you. See, I really thought that someone was going to save me. Wherever that voice came from, it doesn't sound like it had come from your pursuer. It sounds deep, confident, but you're too paralyzed with fear to inspect the source. You're dragged back over the railing. They grab you by one of your arms, wrenched from your face as it's pulled, but your eyes are still shut tight. There's a bit of fumbling around, but soon you're planted firmly on the ground. What do you think you're doing? You nearly got yourself killed. You can't respond. Your eyes are open now, but you're too whiplashed and confused. Before you towers a man of pure muscle, and he's none too happy to see you. It might be a little embarrassing, but you just stare up at him. He looks frustrated, but he takes a second to look away, cool down, and set his eyes on you again. Are you hurt? Can you understand what I'm saying? You nod at the second question. You haven't the faintest clue about the first. Can you tell me your name? Mine's Garreth. It's odd. You almost feel like you don't know how to speak, but it's there. Who are you? At least a name. It must be somewhere in your head. You can't quite latch onto anything. I don't know. You don't know? No, I don't know. Don't remember anything. So you just barrel over a balcony? How do you even get out here? Garreth slides over to the door, gesturing towards the handle. It's locked. There's a latch on the balcony side for locking it. No, I didn't see the edge. I was running from something chasing me. Uh-huh. Sounds like you've been taking some serious shit. What'd you get into? You just stare at him. And this mess, did you wrestle a houseplant or something? Garreth indicates to the floor and you. There's dirt and mud everywhere. Some clings to you, some peels from your form and falls to the floor. Your head begins to throb as you focus on remembering your past, or even just your name. It's a good thing you did, anyways. I just had to follow your trail to find you. He looks exasperated, but your head is still spinning from the ordeal. Alright, do you have maybe an ID or something? You haven't the faintest clue, but by reflex you reach into the back pocket of your desecrated pants. You pull out a wallet, open it, and there's a piece of plastic with a name on it. Garreth takes the wallet, takes one look at your ID, and just rolls his eyes. I should have guessed. Yarin Nyrok. He hands back the wallet. The ID does indeed say that name, right next to what you presume is your face. So, surname Nyrok, given name Yarin, sex male, date of birth, July 15, 2017. Or what is that M there? Date of issue, August 27, 2038. Date of expiry, August 27, 2048. Species, Antillean iguana. Place of birth, Istanza. And this is his signature. Ooh, nice. You're the one Kovle is looking for. Can you walk okay? You have no idea who this Kovle person is, or anything for that matter, but you do ready yourself all the same. Garreth grabs you by the shoulder and guides you out of the balcony area. It's unclear whether he's being helpful, or if he's afraid you'll try jumping off again. What's that necklace you're wearing? Garreth points to your chest as he closes the balcony door. You're wearing some sort of charm made of twigs, feathers, and bone? It reminds you of that monster. Fear overtakes your being, and you grip at the necklace. You squeeze as if trying to break it, and even begin to pull at it. But something makes you hesitate, makes you contemplate its importance. Fear can't help you. Looks like Duskin crap. I'm guessing you got in on some weird cult party and tried drinking the punch. Duskin? None of this rings a bell to you, which doesn't seem to concern Garreth, who has no doubt come to accept your ignorance. It's not like he has a choice on that front, anyway. You find yourself in a lavish hallway. The place is wholly decked out with intricate lights on the ceiling and plush carpet along the floor. The only thing sticking out is the trail of dirt and leaves you left behind. Garreth leads you down the hall until you reach an elevator. While he calls the elevator, you glance along the trail you left. Deciding to follow it, at least until the elevator arrives, you walk into a dimly lit stairwell. There's not much of interest in here besides your telltale trail. Your eyes trace along that path of dirt and debris as it descends down the stairs and out of sight. Peeking over the railing, you can still see bits of it dotting several layers of stairs. You really left a reminder of your trip. You also notice some sticks twirled together a few levels down. You would have missed it if not for the slight movement, the jerking ascent. It looks like someone is dragging it slowly up the stairs with them. The wooden limb hangs over the railing as it slowly gets further up the stairs. At a corner, you lose sight of it, and then you hear a loud bang. Instantly, you jump back, run to the door, and yank it open. Bolting back to the elevator, you bump straight into Garreth. If you're going to keep this up, I'm just going to call the police. Maybe they can keep up with your shenanigans. Sorry, let's just go. Garreth then leads you back to the elevator. The elevator dings, the door now open to you. You follow Garreth into the elevator. You immediately notice the lavish details that line its interior and the lift attendant. He's a kobold, about a head or two shorter than you. They're as stoic as a stone statue, even when they see your abhorrent state. Lobby. The attendant responds by pulling an antiquated-looking lever. This place must be extremely well off, especially if they can afford to have someone just stand here and pull a lever on command. Of course, the decorations also scream wealth quite loudly. There's nothing that gives any clue as to your location, and that only makes you wonder even more. You're given plenty of time to ponder all of this, all while draped in awkward silence, going down, down. So, this is the VIP elevator. The elevator suddenly lurches to a stop and dings. The door opens, and quite an intimidating sight awaits on the other side. An immense serpent is waiting there, with their head and about a third of their body erected over the floor. They're accompanied by a small, very nervous-looking kobold. Thankfully, the serpent doesn't bother trying to see if they can fit into the elevator with you. I'll take the next one. The door closes again. Both Garreth and the attendant let out a sigh of relief. There's more awkward silence, and Garreth cracks under it. I don't use this often. It always smells a bit weird. No offense. Garreth seems to be talking to the bellhop, who doesn't even flinch. It stings your nostrils a bit when you really take a hard sniff. It smells like overpriced cologne, though how you know that is a concern. The elevator finally reaches the main floor, sparing you from a potential existential crisis. As Garreth leads you out the elevator and down the lobby's open hallway, you glance back at your bellhop friend. He's grimacing, kicking out some of the dirt before the elevator door closes. As you approach the front counter, you spy a large, impatient dragon behind it. Oh, thank heavens, is this the guy? Yeah, nearly fell off a balcony, this guy. You're Kovle? Obviously, why wouldn't you know that? He says he's got amnesia. As if we don't have enough problems as it is. I can take it from here. You can go back to whatever it is you do. Kovle gestures Garreth away. Garreth furrows his brow at him in response, but quietly leaves you with Kovle. I don't know what you've been up to, and frankly I don't want to know. You're needed at the gym. Your friend is waiting for you. What's going on? Where am I? Maybe I should see a doctor? Or where's the gym? Can we go through each one? As a person who's lost, as a Scalie who's feeling lost, can we ask what's going on? Where am I? In reverse order, you're at the Heaven's Peak Resort, and your friend is making a mess of my gym. You need to calm him down, and I would assume he knows more about you than I do. Maybe I should see a doctor? One thing at a time. Your shenanigans have left me in damage control mode, and I can't afford to let your friend wreak havoc on my property. Where's the gym? Down the hall, second door to your left. Follow the noise. Kovle half gestures in the direction you need to go. His attention is fixated on a set of papers he's reviewing. What's he doing in the gym? Taking his anger out on my property, as far as I can tell. I haven't the time or heart to check for myself. Your anxiety only grows at Kovle's response. Your property? You own this place? Indeed, or at least whatever will be left of it if you don't get a move on. Is he dangerous? If he is, then deal with it yourself. If I have to intervene, the outcome will be far worse for the both of you. He doesn't even look up at you when he tells you this. This whole setup gives you a very bad feeling. So bad, in fact, that you need a moment to gather yourself before you head in the indicated direction. Be quick, and what are you tracking all over my carpet? Your slow pace picks up, and you quickly scurry around the corner before you invite any more of the dragon's ire.